Hey, and welcome back to Basement Backgammon. In this episode, we're going to be featuring a very small little board made by the Dreuke Game Company out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And Dreuke has a very interesting history, which I've featured in previous videos. But basically, they were the first major American manufacturers of chess equipment, and vintage Dreuke chessboards and chess pieces are very highly sought after. But being a game company, they didn't just make chess pieces. They also made backgammon when it became much more popular. I believe Dreuke started making chess back in the early 1900s and started on backgammon. I'm not 100% sure when, but I want to say the 1940s is when they started making backgammon equipment, but I could be wrong about that. Nevertheless, this board probably comes from the 1970s, and it is a travel board with some interesting features that are unique to Dreuke. So let me tell you a little bit about this. First of all, Dreuke boards of this size generally feature all wood construction. This is all wood. You can see that there are small hinges with a gap on the bottom, and that's quite all right. Oh, let's open this. Oh, the closure here, which is I can't show you because it's missing the top half of the hinge for the closure, but it's this little metal piece that hooks over, like the whole thing hooks into this little knob here to hold it closed. And there may have been, there's a hole here and a hole here. It's possible there were other closures as well, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like this was the only closure. And it's missing part of it. So it's not in great shape in that sense, that it's missing the top bit of that. And it's got a little bit of white, probably paint or something that I could probably scratch off if I really needed to. But other than that, it's solid wood. And if you open it up, what you see is first of all, this is the Dreuke instructions for backgammon. It also came with another backgammon set of instructions by the 1974, the Western Publishing Company. I'm not 100% sure that this is original to the board. It probably is not, given that it doesn't look quite the same. Doesn't look the same at all. Yeah, I'm not sure where these instructions came from, but they came with the set. However, this is definitely a Dreuke set, and that I know from looking at the catalogs. And this little pamphlet comes with Dreuke sets. I have another Dreuke board, a boxed game, that came with the same exact pamphlet. And it says it right there, William F. Dreuke and Sons, Grand Rapids, Michigan, 3rd Street Northwest. This illustration, by the way, is very old. It predates this instruction booklet, with where it says, you see bar point on the bar and and it says inner table. They call it the inner table and the outer table, not the home board. And where it says light is quite interesting. I actually recently got a booklet from 1940. It's called 1930, Winning Backgammon at Sight. And I read a little bit of it, and light, what that means there is that wherever, if you're playing on a tabletop, wherever the lamp is, that's where your runners should be. That should be the bear-off position, where the lamp is. That's why it says light. I'm going to do a whole thing about that particular book in another video, but just letting you know that this illustration has been carried forward on instruction booklets, dating all the way back to 1930. That doesn't mean that this instruction booklet is from the 30s. It almost certainly is not, but it dates back to that time period. Let me see, is there a date at all here? There isn't. There isn't a date, is all here. So it's possible when they created this instruction booklet, they just took some of the most popular illustrations from that book, Winning Backgammon at Sight. In fact, now that I'm looking at this, it's very possible that most of this instruction booklet was taken from Winning Backgammon at Sight. The At Sight series, by the way, in 1930s, was similar to the For Dummies series in today's world. They had all sorts of games, Bridge at Sight and Backgammon at Sight and all sorts of other ones. Anyway, that's a little bit of history of that. So let's look at this board. What you have here is a very the board itself is finely made. It's a nice solid piece of wood with painted on points. Points are not particularly well painted on, but they're painted on. You can see there's overlap here where they painted it. So you can see they didn't do a great bit of care with this. There is no raised bar here, being a travel board like this. These checkers that come with it are very small plastic checkers. They're not magnetized. They got felt in the bottom for your white and your black. For your white and your green, that is. There's also these two pegs, and I'm going to show you in a minute what those pegs are for. There's a peg for green and a peg for white. Comes with 2 dice. I don't know if the original had more than 2 dice, but it only comes with 2 dice. My assumption is the dice get passed back and forth. And let's do a very quick 6. I don't even have to do a 6 across test because you can see already that this was not meant, since there's no bar here holding the checkers in. There's no actual bar here. That the checkers are going to float around quite a bit on the board, and the players are going to have to move them where they have to very, very carefully to avoid checkers slopping everywhere. The interesting part about this board is this. So what Dreuke did, in order to not have to ship a doubling cube with their boards, they have this doubling area, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. And that's what these pegs are for. When you double, the person who doubles puts their peg where they doubled. So I've doubled to 2. And now the other person has the right to lift up that peg, put his peg in to double to 4. So this keeps track of the doubling. This is a feature of Dreuke. I haven't seen this on other boards except for Dreuke boards, although it may have been appropriated. I'm not going to bother rolling or anything like that. It's wood, and there's no rails to keep the dice in. So this is going to be pretty messy and, of course, pretty loud. And the checkers are very, very small. This whole thing is supposed to be a little travel board that you throw into your backpack or your suitcase or whatever, and you can travel with on a train, let's say, and play backgammon. It's perfectly fine the way it is. I really have it as a piece of history. I'm never going to play a game on this thing. I thought it was interesting for this, and I did not pay a lot of money for this. But anyway, this is my the Dreuke travel board. So I hope you enjoyed it, and like and subscribe for more content. You'll see more coming in the days to come. Thanks.